what they call coastal road, could have built a standard railway system across all the state capitals in Nigeria. And it's a better means of mass transportation. But they are borrowing because, of course, you know, the Chagori brothers are back in Nigeria. Those are the negative part of the Tinubu administration. If not, I think economic-wise, they are doing very well. But again, they are greedy, they are tax collectors. They also want to probably improve their own economy and all of that. Those are the disadvantages. If not, why are you doing a coastal road? You destroying people's homes, reclaiming tourist centers and all of that you are doing. Because how many goods can we carry on the roads? Regardless the number of years that it will last. Go to China and see speed rail. Okay, and then you're looking at that. You should be looking at options. So, yes, they are taking loans. They are in a hurry to impress. There are the Lafia Makodi axis of the highway has been, from Kefi here rather, has been constructed. It was on loan, started by President Muhammad Buhari.
Yeah, we have a toll gate there too.
Yes, there are toll gates there. The road looks very good.
Very good, yes.
Now the Makodi, Otuko, Enugu axis of it is also under construction. And those people are working very fast. In fact, I was on the road 2 weekends ago. So I know what they have done in that place. They are not, even the rain is not stopping them because it's their money that is okay, so those ones are good. You can call that loan, but it's good loan because it will help improve the economy. It will improve mobility and all of that. It save costs. The damages to our cars on the bad roads and all of that. Of course, that is if there is a clause in the agreement that they have to keep the roads motorable. Because I've started noticing failure on the Kefi, Makodi axis of the road. There are patches on the road. There are potholes there that they have patched and all of that. Hope they can maintain it. Probably when they started, they never told them they will maintain it, they will be running it for this long. So this substandard project, but now I think they are catching up. So let's give them credit for the economy, but they can do better.
Okay.
A clash of brilliance. A war.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
All the dynamics, all the, build up towards 2027, Mr. Cletus says it's not too early because it's good you identify with the force you want to go to with, as the primaries are coming up pretty soon. Okay, I want to probe further, having talked about the loans being borrowed and all, Uncle also said that the project seems to be tilted more in favor of the South. And many people have actually, it has sparked a sort of conversation about why didn't these same people, couple of people who are talking about the Tinubu administration, why didn't they call on Buhari when he was doing about the same thing or even way worse than what Tinubu is doing right now? But I want us to probe on the issue of this northern factor. Now, with the way things are, right, it seems to be the turn of the South. Even though they say it's not a constitutional thing, but it seems to be like an agreement that is there. Now, on one hand, we were thinking that Kwankwaso was going to come to APC. Up until when he made that statement. Me, if he still comes back to APC, I'll not be surprised because Nigerian politicians, they can be that deceptive. you know. And I know you tell me what you think about that. Then secondly, we have seen Atiku. And meanwhile, the rumor is flying around that he might most likely fly the ticket for the ADC. Peter Obi is another person too that somehow we saw him going around and having meetings with the APC and all of that. Now, if you look at the way things are, is there any... I listened to Kenneth Okonkwo make the analysis that, look, if Peter Obi should go up against Tinubu, that he has everything to lose because Tinubu is already established and he has all the institutions working in his favor. But that if he goes up against an Atiku, for example, or maybe another northern person, the chances are that maybe the wind could go in favor of an Atiku. But then looking at the way things are, it is the turn of the South. So this thing about the North crying and want, but it is not their turn. They were the same people who were very angry and, you know, turned against Jonathan when Adwa died, saying that, look, Jonathan should not go. So why would they be crying at this point in time when it is the turn of the South?
Well, I don't know what you mean by turn of the South, because this democracy returned about 26 years ago now.
Yes.
And if you look at it very well, the South has done more than 16 years. So the word turn of the South doesn't even come in. And in every election in Nigeria, apart from 1999, we've had presidential candidates from almost all the geopolitical zones, even the last one. I remember Buhari's time, people like Donald Duke were also presidential candidates, I think in the SDP also. Mm-hmm. Okay, we never knew who was the candidate between him and Professor Jerry Ghana until the election was over. So, but people have always contested elections. I think that's, so that aspect of it, like they keep saying, zoning is a gentleman agreement. It's not documented anywhere.
Exactly.
So it's not the issue of anybody's turn. Secondly, when you talk about people now criticizing Tinubu because he's not from the South, you should first ask the Yorubas, why are they quiet? They are the most vocal set of Nigerians.
Tinubu is from the South.
Okay, so why do you now blame? Because Tinubu is from the South and the Yorubas are not criticizing him, probably that could be the same reason why they were criticizing Buhari when he was there, because he was not from the North. So if they have relinquished the responsibility of criticism, they should allow the North to criticize in peace. Because when Buhari was there, they were making all manner of statements, criticizing him, denouncing him and all of that. And what we have today is still not too far from what we had under Buhari, except for some of the reforms. Corruption is there everywhere. Mm-hmm. We can all see it, even though if you talk, they ask you to bring evidence. I don't know where they want you to go and get the evidence from. But we all know that corruption is there. And nobody is talking again. All the human rights activists and the media, the southern flank of the media, they have all gone numb. So you can't blame the people of the North if they decide to choose now to criticize. Yes, I agree with you. The ADC is built specifically for Atiku Abubakar, because nobody will want to build a house except if you already have a comfortable house. If not, how can you be sleeping on the street and give out your house for rent? So the people that are forming the ADC, they are PDP, they are Atiku people. They are the faction of the PDP, like I said earlier, that are disgruntled, that are not happy with the way things are, and they are the stronger version of it. But there is something I don't agree with Okonkwo, that if Peter Obi is up against Tinubu, he has everything to lose. If Peter Obi contests election under a different political platform, and Atiku is on the ballot, it will be very, very difficult for Tinubu to win election in a free and fair contest. Because the North will vote for Atiku or whoever they bring out, and Peter Obi would have ended up dividing the vote of the South and Northern Christians. Okay, let's have that in mind. Back to power again. And I can say,
who are the El-Rufai set of people?
They are the ones in the ADC now. Okay, these people can pretend that we are all Northerners, but they don't treat us as Northerners. And I don't have to hide that feeling. I can say that anywhere, and I am here to say it again. Those people should stay away from power. Okay, they've not. Southern Kaduna is relatively peaceful now. If you give me the option of an El-Rufai and the Ubasani, I go with Ubasani any day. Because we need peace. We need to value human life. We need to respect ourselves. We need to know that all men, whether Christian, Muslim, whoever you are, we are all created equal with equal rights. Ubasani has done very well in Kaduna State. And we must keep telling our brothers and sisters from Kaduna that under no condition must you choose an El-Rufai over Ubasani. You don't need to pretend about this. So I am saying it again, that if it is an Atiku and P2B on a ticket, those of us from the Middle Belt, those of us from that...
But Mr. Cletus, when did an Atiku and an El-Rufai reconcile? Previously, they were on the different side of the divide.
Because they now want power. They are desperate for power. And that is exactly what we're saying. This power, they've had it in the past. And how did those of us from the middle oppress our people, to destroy our people, to make sure that several persons don't have a voice? They reclaim, ancestral lands from people. They destroy chieftaincy titles or whatever tools that have been existing for ages. I don't think those people need to be close to power. So if there is an Obi, he will divide the Tinubu vote. But if there is no Obi, a lot of people, I see the alliance the Tinubu camp is doing in Plateau and other places and all of that. But a lot of people within the Middle Belt are still sympathetic to a P2B. The last election, I know how a Labour Party did in my area when nobody even campaigned for them. Because they didn't have money. They were not giving anybody money. You can't see, but people just voted for them because they feel it will be a breath of fresh air. So if Obi is contesting election, probably there will be more people trying to drown the message that, Obi's candidacy will do injury to Tinubu. Because if there is an election where there is a Tinubu and Atiku on the ballot, I will vote for Tinubu.
Maybe, Mr. Cletus, you are speaking for yourself, because I honestly feel, if you ask me, if an Atiku should go with an Obi, that would do more collateral damage to Tinubu than an Obi and an Atiku standing independently.
No. I'm also in the political system.
Okay.
The Gen Z generation doesn't like Atiku. In fact, nobody in the Gen Z generation that follows Obi wanting to...
The Obi factor will come in and
Obi
add to the vote.
have a factor. When Shetima was contesting with Tinubu, he said he was going to take care of security while Tinubu was going to take care of economy. Where is Shetima today? They call him the vice president academics. Why should he be vice president admin? Yeah, so you're going to become vice president. We saw the intelligent Yemi Osinbajo, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. What did he do? So you are telling me P2B is going to deputize Atiku, and you think the Northern Cabal will allow him to function? He will not function. They will swallow him there. So let's not pretend about it. Deputizing Atiku is a no-no for P2B. He just want to destroy...
No, I've heard many of that, as in that he should not even think about it.
No. He has built a brand for himself. He should not be desperate for power. If God wants him to be president, he'll be president. If God doesn't, he should just leave it. But even if you ask Obi himself and you tell him to go and vote on election day between Atiku and Tinubu, I'm sure Obi will vote for Tinubu.
But what about Obi right now? Where does he stand? Because his LP, you understand, he was having serious issues. That's recently reconciled with Yabure and says, well, as far as it's concerned, Obi is still there. But then Obi, I don't know where he stands. Whether he's still with LP, is he PDP, is he ADC?
LP has not reconciled anything.
No, I said Dirty. Yes, remember Dirty that deputized for Obi? Yes, he said he has reconciled with the Abure faction. And
well, of course, he has his life to live. He has his right to freedom of association. The Obi people are still in Nadi Usman as their national chairman. Okay?
Yeah.
So, and the INEC has not come out clear to say exactly what is happening. Unfortunately, the judiciary, which is all of us believe is not so independent, has not helped issues. Because they brought issues to them and they will tell you, oh, it's a party affair. You know, that was what damaged PDP. Because they couldn't make a concise statement of who is the national secretary of the PDP. And the only challenge, because the Atiku people had majority in PDP, but there was a problem. To call a NEC or a convention or anything, the letter that goes to INEC, the general secretary must sign. And the general secretary is a weak ball. So he will not append his signature. And that was how they're using it to damage the PDP. If Wike was not the one that produced Samanyangu PDP would have absolutely had no problem, and that was how former governor of Kaduna, Mekarifi, was able to defeat Alimodu Sheriff. Wike is not more powerful than Alimodu Sheriff, and I can say that again. But they were on the side of the law. The only difference this time is that the person that was national secretary was produced by Wike, and his signature was required. So on the day you hold a meeting, Wike can tell him to go and take tea somewhere, and he won't come. Even when Damagon, the national chairman of PDP, asked him to resume, Wike issued a statement that Sam Anyangu was not his boy or his employee. I don't know if you can remember.
Yeah, of course.
That was the problem with the PDP. So I don't think INEC has helped issues. But there are still factions in Labour Party, because if you say that Ahmed has reconciled with Aburi, what is the position of, how do you call him, Obi? Because there is no Labour Party without Obi, whether you like it or not.
Well,
nobody knew.
That is that as far as he's concerned, that Obi still belongs to the LP, and that no crack between his relationship with Obi and
it's not him that will tell us where Obi belongs. He should speak for himself.
I mean, we're
Obi
expecting that Obi should respond, but we've not heard any response from him.
Well, I'm sure he's taking his time, but recently we've seen him associate more with the ADC people, and he's not sure. Unfortunately, he is not moving with anybody. Like I said, the people that really made Obi who he is in the last election are not those that you would have called stakeholders or elders.
Yeah.
They are the ordinary people on the street.
On the street,
and
yes.
they are still with him. So you won't see them going to a meeting with him, or if they are there with him, they don't have a name, so nobody will recognize them. But they are still there, as long as he doesn't take the wrong decision, because when he decides on what to do, probably Nigerians will also decide. Those that love him will also decide on what to do, because nobody is tied to him. But for now, I think he is no longer with the Abure fashion of Labour Party. The Nenadi Usman fashion, even when Dati Ahmed made those comments and say he has reconciled with the Abure fashion and all of that, Nenadi Usman fashion issued a statement. Okay, so they are still up in war against themselves, and there is no peace in the Labour Party yet. But of course, it will take time. The only governor they have is with the Obi fashion.
That is Abia State Governor.
Abia State Governor.
OT.
And yes, and they are members of the National Assembly. Apart from those who have decamped to APC, they are also with Obi. And I want to say it again, that if Obi is not interested in running for president, I think all of us should support Tinubu for a second.
Okay. All right. I wanted to just, I wanted to just pose the question to you, and then you just landed
if Obi
on
wants
it.
to contest for president, fine. But if he's not interested in contesting for president, if he's to go and form alliance with Atiku Abubakar, it's a no-no.
Anyway, you've you've made a lot of analysis with a lot of things. You feel he has strengthened the economy. It's just that, maybe there are some little hitches and glitches.
There is corruption, no doubt about that. They are in a hurry because you remove subsidy from petroleum products, you remove subsidy from foreign currency. I think that should be enough. Then you go and increase tariff. You go and remove or reclassify, how do you call it?
The VAT.
Billing, electricity bill.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Those are the things.
I don't use AC in my house again because you know what it costs to run an AC? So those things are difficult. Those are the things, because if you have removed fuel subsidy and you have removed subsidy from forests, you should allow that to stabilize so that people try to recover from those costs before you now bring
take on
additional burden. Then you come, import duty is increasing by the day. If you know how much it costs, raining this morning, I stay in Cairo, driving out of the house this morning, a lot of vehicles broke down in traffic because how many people, the way people used to buy cars, you can't do that. Even the parts.
I'm telling you, even 2000, maybe a 1999 car.
Exactly.
You know what to sell you, the kind of price they'll call you. Don't be wondering, eh?
I have a 2007 Sienna. I wanted to sell it at a point, but I know if I sell it, I'll spend the money and I won't have money to buy another one.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
I have to start
that's just the truth.
So it's those areas are the areas he has not done well. there is need for, how do you call it, some kind of concessions to importers and all of that to make sure things are better. They've now opened the borders for foreign rice to start coming in again. Farmers are not happy about that because instead of them to subsidize agro products like fertilizer, like tractors and others, they don't do that. Now people, if you are farming rice in Nigeria, Nigerian rice is now more expensive than foreign rice because a bag of fertilizer is so expensive. And then you farm and you go and sell at the price they are selling foreign rice in the market today, you won't gain anything. So if you are trying to encourage farming, you should encourage farming by subsidizing the inputs into farm. And then, or better still, have a policy that you buy back. People that farm, when they farm, you buy it back
from them,
so that you go and sell at a subsidized rate in the market until things stabilize.
Yeah.
They are not doing those things now. And I think that one on its own is also wounding the economy because the farmers are the highest employer of labor in Nigeria.
Indeed. Okay. So, but moving forward, right? Moving forward, because you made mention of if we have a free and fair election. So that if factor is still there.
It's still there. It's very much there.
INEC has been at the bottom of Nigeria's criticism and jokes and, sarcasm and all of that. Moving forward now, do you think we need any other reform? I mean, because the IREV,
we proposed all those reforms. We don't know how.
Is there a political will? That's my question. Is there a political will to bring in any reform before 2027? Do you think?
Well, there will be a new electoral act before 2027.
You think?
Yes, there will.
Okay.
We are working on that at the National Assembly. There will also be some amendment to the Constitution. I don't know how far it will go. I don't think some of the drastic changes we want to see will be there. But like we keep saying, the problem is not the law, it's the implementation. Even the Electoral Act that we have currently doesn't say you should go and rig election anywhere. But people are still rigging. So we've seen some of the off-season elections they have conducted. They don't really meet up to standard. So it's unfortunate that Tinubu, with all his democratic credentials, is presiding what we are seeing in Nigeria today. Of course, we've had times in the past. It's a call to members of the National Assembly. I remember when they tried to do the first amendment to the Electoral Act about 2021 or so, when they said 2001.
Yeah.
When they say President Obasanjo forged an Electoral Act because what the National Assembly said they passed was not what the president signed.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of those that defended what Obasanjo did there, that same forged Electoral Act swept most of them away. Yes.
It's just like that primaries for
exactly 2022.
2022, yeah.
Yes. They were the one that passed the law, so it's like
And then somebody
Goliath
just
coming to
hit
war
them
front
again.
with the stone they used in killing
Killing,
the sword they used in cutting his neck. So I think the National Assembly should be careful because their own personality is at stake, their own future is at stake. I see a lot of people, most especially those in ADC, crying today. These people were in one position or the other before now to make a difference. They did not.
Exactly.
They were at the National Assembly and they had the opportunity of giving us a workable law that will hold everybody to account for their actions. They did not do. Because when you are in the system, it favors you. By then, they were in the system and it favored them, so they never thought there was need for change. So what we should tell members of the National Assembly is that, remember, one day you will also be out of that place and you will be wailing like those who are outside today that they call their wailing wailers because it won't be too long. It could even be in 2027. You go to the poll and you'll be surprised at what will happen to you. And it's always worse for those set of people because you would have campaigned, you would have all the money you have hidden over the years, you have invested it into the election and you lose. You go home broke. Look at everybody that lost the election in 2023. 90% of them are not doing well now. Okay? Because they spent so much. In fact, those people that the Electoral Act took out are even happier because they didn't go into the general election. There were those who contested that, went to court for pre-primary, went to the general election, spent so much, and they lost. And today, their life is miserable. So when you have an opportunity to make an impact, please do, and forget about yourself. And I think that is the challenge that they are having. So if they decide to amend the Electoral Act, it will be better for all of us. But it's not a guarantee that they will implement it. We can see what's happening in America right now. With all their democratic credentials, you have a Trump that is ready to pull down everything, anything and everything. So if the president is not ready to conduct a free, fair, and credible election, there won't be one.
How about the judiciary? I mean, in all of this, I mean, they seem to just be a recurring decimal in the equation. You know, with people saying right now everything just has been handed over to judiciary.
Some of those things should be part of the reform we are expecting from the National Assembly. The judiciary should.
What sort of reform do you think, to keep judiciary more away from the scheme of things when it comes to our election?
Number one, we can have an election tribunal or commission that is on standby.
Yeah.
We could use former justices of the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal to head those things, and then make sure all electoral disputes are disposed with before inauguration. That will help. With the court system that we have today, the courts are already overburdened, the judges are already overburdened, the courts are crowded, okay? And during election, for that 6 months, judges are formed into panels, transferred to somewhere far away from where they are presiding judges. And then at the end of the day, for those 3 months, 6 months, even for a tribunal is 6 months. For those 6 months, they are away. Then 3 months for appeal before going to the Supreme Court. You see that the criminal cases, the civil cases that is before their court suffers. And that is why cases goes on in Nigeria for 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
Because another election cycle will come, and then the judges will relinquish those cases and go and handle electoral matters. We can take advantage of our experienced retired judges. They can sit every day, and you can take a lot of technicalities out of the electoral process so that you go to court straight. Did you win? You win, or you did not win. Those things should be black and white. Anybody that won, you know. Anybody that didn't win, you know. Where there is a manipulation, you know. Where there is no manipulation, you know. In some countries, African countries, every presidential election in particular, the Electoral Commission only they declare a provisional result. It goes through the judicial process, and within weeks, the final result is declared. So we can have something like that, because what we have even noticed over time is that the percentage of people that win from the court are very, very small. So why waste the time? Why waste the resources? You know how much senior advocates of Nigeria collect for a case in court? You will be surprised. It's far more than that. So if you pay through those processes and you get to power, you will want to acquire more money. You want to steal. You want to keep for the next election so that you can pay your lawyer, you can pay the judges, because they are paying judges in Nigeria now to buy cases and all of that. And then you to go and campaign with the electorate. If you take all those money out, where is money for projects?
Interesting. Let's read some comments that are coming in and keep coming in. I don't know if you can be done with all of them, but we'll try and then take calls alongside. Adarama, it's not only too early, but too strange for us to be talking 2027. As a keen and participant observer of the political activities in our country, politics has eclipsed other major activities in the country. Quest for better economy, education, health, etc. is now put in a cooler. It may interest us to know that the brand of politics we have in Nigeria has polluted an average Nigerian man, woman, youth, and children. The do-or-die approach to Nigerian politics has equally contaminated our people in village and town meetings. I had a bitter experience in my Lungu where they openly told me that they were in power, hence they could afford to do whatever they liked. If you don't sanitize our political domain, most Nigerian politicians will become what Dr. Sylvester Onoja called minimalists, a combination of the worst traits in man and animal, says Comrade Efodu. Ebuka from Suleja said, I'm Gen Z and I voted for Atiku Obi in 2019, and I felt that they would have won in 2023 if they had run the same ticket. And now I strongly believe that they have come together in 2027 to win against Tinubu. I'd rather have Atiku as president and Obi as his vice for one term than Obi continuing as president afterwards. than for Obi to serve for one term alone as promised, as proposed. Obi would have served well enough as VP under Atiku to earn him presidential seat and do well enough to earn him a second term. That's what Ebuka opines. Good day, Swat. Your guest is being sentimental. Just to remind him, Atiku is not El-Rufai and should draw a line between the two. That's Atiku. Obi ticket will cause serious damage to Tinubu because the North has taken a stand already, says Harrison Wire from Jahi 1. Good day, Sama. This turn by turn is not what we need right now. When Tinubu and his people outside GEJ, who told us South must finish its turn, clearly the PBAT government has failed and we need to take the bull by the horns. Suleiman from Zone 5. All right. Obi will contest. If he doesn't, I'll force him. I'm shocked to hear your guess that the economy is doing good. This pickpocket government, okay, choice of words. We scratch that. You said this government that came with the sole purpose of taking from us must go. They should have used Mahmoud as their party chair, not a former INEC rep. Deliverance is coming. The watch says, the Patriot. Thank you. Salisu from Suleiman. Salisu Suleiman from Galadima said the truth is that the coalition have a lot of work to do. Any candidate in the coalition that is not from the South at this point is dead on arrival. That's what he opines. Let's take this call. Hello?
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Madam Swat, God will bless you.
Thank you.
Mr. Cletus, I greet you.
I greet you too, sir.
Yes, sir. This is Dabangu. You finished the episode. You see, it is better for me to support Obi and any person that can for the time. That support any other person. And we will now back the person. No way.
More conversation.
I'll go back and let them do their assignments very well. There is no way.
Elder, please, let's take a commercial. Just pause, please.
Everyone says I'm beautiful and bold. They say I'm fashionable. And to crown it up, very confident. And my secret is...
People say I'm good looking, funny, hardworking, and to crown it up, very confident.
Hi everyone, my name is Swat. That's the name my father gave me, but you can always call me Her Vocal Majesty. I'm the host of The Sunny Side on 95.1 Nigeria Info. It takes place every weekday, noon to 3 p.m., where we get to have all the lovely contemporary conversations. If your days are normally long and gloomy, well, not anymore, because I'm here to make it all bright and sunny for you. So join me. It's an invitation. You don't want to miss out.